What's up, guys? It's Keegan. I'm here to bring you another fantabulous video. I just woke up recently and I'm going to try to get this done as quickly as possible because this is a pretty interesting video, I think. I'm going to bring you guys some info that you probably didn't know about prisons. This is going to be 5 like myths or misconceptions about prison that people probably don't know that haven't either worked in a prison or been to prison. I myself have never been to prison. Like I'm not an inmate in prison, obviously. I work at a prison. So these are 5 things that I've picked up that people just don't get about prison. It's not as bad as people think it is. I mean, it's bad, but there's a lot going on that people don't know. The first misconception is people think that like inmates are getting stabbed every day. Like there's like violence happening every day. Like, don't get me wrong. The stuff happens, but there aren't people dying every day in prison. There aren't officers getting shanked every day in prison. It's not nearly as violently, like, I don't know, it's not as violent every single day like people think it is. It's not I go in wondering if I'm gonna come out every day. It's not that bad. Like, there definitely are some instances where people get hurt, don't get me wrong, but it's not nearly as often as people think it is. The second one is not all inmates have tattoos. Not all inmates even look like inmates, which is, I mean, it might be kind of scary to think about because some of them in there, I mean, honestly, they look like people that you see every day on the street, and it's crazy because, like I said, they don't all have tattoos. They don't all have like gnarly ass beards. They're just, some of them just look like normal everyday people. And what's scary about that though is that the ones that I know are like murderers and shit are the ones that look the most normal, which is kind of weird to me. But you know, it's just something interesting to, I don't know, just to think about. Like, not everybody that looks like a bad guy is a bad guy. The third one is not everybody in prison is there for murder or hurting somebody. Like, there are people there who just didn't pay their taxes right. There are people that go there for doing like tax bond evasion, stuff like that, where they get a little bit extra money doing things. I mean, prison is literally like you can get put in prison for some really stupid stuff. But not everybody in prison is there because they hurt somebody or they killed somebody or something like that. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them that belong there for, you know what I mean, hurting people and stuff, but they're not all there because they're out shanking people or shooting people or whatever, you know what I mean? They're not all out to get you, but there are definitely some in there that, you know what I mean, it's not an everyday thing where you meet a new murderer or there's a new inmate who, you know what I mean, is a serial killer or something like that. They've been there for a while if that's the case and you hadn't heard about it. But yeah, no, not everybody in prison is there because they're, you know what I mean, psycho. This fourth one is something that, I mean, I don't know personally, but like I've been told by a good amount of the inmates in there, and it's something that they bring up too. And it's more of a, hey, don't be so serious, like, you know what I mean, stuff doesn't really happen as often as they say. And COs have told me the same thing, correctional officers and stuff. In this one, I'm going to give you a warning ahead of time if you want to skip ahead. It's kind of a serious topic, but like, apparently, like, and this is according to the COs and stuff too, is rape doesn't happen as often anymore because the one thing that they say to me is that it doesn't happen as often because there's so many homosexual people in prison now that you don't have to take it from anybody. There's literally people who are gonna offer it to you. I mean, they might ask you to give them some food or some extra, you know what I mean, money or something like that, but rape isn't as oftenly, it doesn't happen as often, I guess, anymore because there's so many people who are giving it up, I guess. They're not fighting you about it anymore. The only way that would happen, or they would say, hey, this dude took advantage of me or something, is if they're gonna rat on him and get him in trouble and someone else is gonna pay him off for it. And the last one, the fifth one, and this is where I come in. I work in the kitchen staff, you know what I mean? I supervise the kitchen staff, which is all inmates. But the messed up thing is there's this misconception that prison food is bad. And what's messed up about it is that prison food is not that bad. I've literally, like, I have eaten worse food outside than some of the stuff that we eat in the prison. Some nights I get tacos, some nights I get like spaghetti and stuff, which personally I find ridiculous, but they get this food and it's really not that bad. They get a big old thing of spaghetti and meat sauce, and then they get cheese to put on top of that. Some of the food in prison is not that bad, and it's surprising because everybody thinks it's just this sloppy gruel and stuff like that, but they're really, I mean, they're really getting a lot. They get cakes and cookies and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, it really is. I think it's ridiculous that they get like this good quality stuff. I mean, it sort of resembles MREs and stuff like that, but it's still not that bad. I think it could be much worse. It should be, but it's not, and it's pretty insane how many different things of food they get to. Been my top 5, or like most recently, like realized misconceptions or like myths about prison that just they don't make. It's none of them are true. A lot of them aren't true. I personally, I mean, I'm not in prison. I work at a prison, and if you guys want to know more stuff about prison or like any stories that I have a couple that I could definitely tell you, a couple interesting stories. But let me know if you want to see stuff like that in the comments and stuff. Like, share, and if you haven't yet, subscribe, because if you subscribe, then you'll see all my videos when they come out, you know, and it'll help support me and all the stuff that I'm doing. So just let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.